Hey, I'm Moldover. I'm really excited to show you my newest jam box. It's called ConnecTable. You might be surprised because there's actually two in front of me, and that's right, I've built two ConnecTables. I've taken all that I've learned building three polished, finished jam boxes, the Octamasher, the Synco Masher, and the Mini Masher. I brought all those to, I'd say, hundreds of events and watched thousands of people play these things, and I've learned a whole lot, and I've catalyzed all that new knowledge and experience into the design for ConnecTable. So really excited to show it to you. Let's jump over here to the smaller of these two. Got two different sizes. And I'll show you some of the stuff. They're essentially the same, except this one is built with slightly smaller controllers, and the cabinetry, the furniture is a little bit different. But they both operate the same. You got the center controller, which I call the master controller, which lets you pick different songs. Much like on the Mini Masher with that knob, you can change the sounds that are in the whole instrument. You just press one of these buttons.
Bonobo, eyes down.
And it loads a different song.
Two fingers, Fool's Rhythm.
And most of it's content from Ninja Tune's app, Ninja Jam right now, but it's also got some sound sets that I created, like this one.
Moldover, the Octamasher.
So this is loops from the original Octamasher and one-shots as well. So I'll show you what it's like from the perspective of what is the drum station here. It could be whatever for, you know, arrangements of sounds you choose. But basically, it's like drums, bass, backing instruments, and lead instruments. So on the drum station, you've got little one-shot samples on this modified keyboard controller. So you can finger drum on that, super intuitive, easy enough for anybody to figure out. You've got a row of loops in front of you on the master controller, so in this case they're all drum loops. And you can see there's some visual feedback here. It's really helpful for people. And you got two touch strips for some momentary effects. So you can play a loop. And that kind of gives people enough different things they can combine in different ways, and, you know, kind of a very real-time thing and a more DJ, you know, loop-based thing. Pretty much everybody can find a way to connect to this arrangement of controls and jam out with people. The four-sided thing is a new thing if you've seen my other instruments. It's actually very similar to how the Octamasher operates, which had 8 stations. And the Octamasher, it turns out, was most fun when you had two adjoining stations. Every other station on the Octamasher had loops, and every other one had these little one-shot samples. So having both of those, it's kind of like having two Octamasher stations in one. 4 is a really good number of people, because that sort of like gives you enough, you know, variety and interest and actual like different ideas coming together. But you can still pay attention to that many people without it getting crazy. And it's really useful for building furniture. It just makes it a lot simpler to make these tables and set the thing up. And what I really love is the way that these speakers are configured. So these are actually 4 independent audio channels, amplified speakers, and they're all being mixed as you would mix monitors for a band on stage. So these two speakers have the left and right channel of this station coming out louder than the sounds from the other stations, and that's the same for each. And actually here, this station on my right and this station on my left, and that one back there a little bit quieter. So that makes it easy to hear what I'm doing, and it makes it easy to identify which person is playing which sound. That gets even better if you set up the headphones. I have a whole bunch of headphones ready to go. There's headphone amplifier in here, and there's little hooks to conveniently hang your headphones. And that gives you like super rich spatialization and high quality sounds, even in noisy environments. I think it detracts a little bit from the social element. It's a little harder to get people to commit to, you know, jumping in and playing a new instrument, having new experience if they have to put some gear on. And it makes it a little harder to like have those conversations and talk to people in the midst of a jam or around a jam, but it's cool, you know, you can do both, either or. So yeah, that's the 4-sided thing, and I guess we can talk a little bit more about some functional features. I've got a little remote, which is a new thing. This is just a off-the-shelf MIDI controller, but it's wireless. The receiver is inside the ConnecTable, and this controls the volume of the instrument, the whole thing. And that's really useful because in the course of an event, you know, there might be more people at the peak of the event, fewer people at the end of the event. It's cool to have that ability to control it. Also, you know, to mute it if somebody's gonna give a speech or who knows what. So it's just cool to have that remote, you know, stashed somewhere where you, as the operator, the controller, can get to that easily. And then it also manages the output, the 2-track output. So that's another great thing about this sound configuration, is these all automatically mix down to a really good sounding stereo mix, and you can pipe that out. There's outputs, just 1/4-inch jack outputs. You can send that to a recording device or some other computer or something to broadcast it on the internet. And right now it's feeding a subwoofer, excuse me, a subwoofer, which is under the table down here. Got this nice skirt, but it's skirting what is also a really nice custom-made table, about cocktail table height, and concealing and supporting the subwoofer down there. So it's a really good way to balance out these speakers. They're fairly small, and the subwoofer extends their sonic range to the full audio spectrum. So yes, you have skirt or no skirt options. There's 2 access points. There's one on the side here, which is easy to get to in the middle of an event or whatever. It swings open. It's got a locking latch here, and then the whole top actually opens up if you need to do troubleshooting or quick repair. Not often necessary, but I love this because it makes the whole machine easier to work on. It reminds me of some cool features that are new in this one, like a timer. So the entire device and the computer reboots at currently 5 a.m. Every day right now, but you could change that or bypass that. And here's where you can get to all the amps and stuff if you really need to crank this thing, or make any other adjustments like that. And that too locks over there. So yeah, so that's the main design features of ConnecTable. And this smaller one, this bigger one is different, mostly in that the table is a totally different design. It's actually a folding table, really strongly built. It's got a 2x4 leg, so it all bolts together and is very strong and will hold up in, you know, crazy festival environments or interactive children's museums, all kinds of situations. But it also breaks down small enough that it'll fit in the back seat of a car. And it's got the bigger version of the same controllers. This is one of the spare controllers I always like to keep around, so that gives you some concept of the bigger one and the smaller one. And I didn't mention, but this keyboard's obviously been modified in a few ways, but one way that may not be so obvious is the black keys have been removed. And it's just to make it so there's fewer triggers. You know, you don't really need a whole ton of triggers, kind of like simplify it. And I like that it keeps the sort of visual musical interface. Like you see that, you recognize musical keyboard. That's such an iconic thing. But then you get up closer and realize there are no black keys, and so obviously it can't really be used to play musical scales and notes the way a traditional keyboard would. So I like that balance of it looks musical, but not too musical, if you will. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all the features of ConnecTable. Thanks for watching.